Can I get any of you cunts a drink?
Welcome to the Winchester Podcast. This is our second, but also our first movie review. What would you say it's our second or first, Ronnie? What would you say?
It's our second movie review because we did Scariest Stories Tell in the Dark last time.
And that was uploaded, correct?
Yeah, it's on Podbean and on YouTube.
Wonderful. So there you go. This will be our second movie review. This is a little different than our normal podcast. It's not going to have Tyler involved because I don't think he's had a moment to see the movie yet. And I don't know if he quite wants to join in on the movie review aspect of things. We'll get to that some other time. But in the meantime, this is our review of 2019's HellBoy. So, this is going to sound really insane, and I almost don't want to say it just yet. And the reason why I don't want to say it is because there's still a few movies that I haven't watched this year that I want to see. But as of right now, Ronnie, you're going to hate me, but HellBoy 2019 is one of my favorite movies this year.
It's okay. I mean, everybody has their stupid opinion.
Love how it's a stupid opinion. That just warms my heart. So a little bit about this movie. The film was directed by Neil Marshall. And if you don't know who this man is, he directed he directed one of my favorite werewolf movies of all time. You may have heard of it, Dog Soldiers. It's fucking phenomenal. And if you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go watch Dog Soldiers. It is badass. He also directed an anthology film that I really enjoyed that came out about 2015 called Tales of Halloween. He directed a segment called Bad Seed, where it's stupid as hell. It's about a pumpkin that comes to life and just starts wreaking havoc on a town on Halloween. You'll love it, trust me. So, here's the deal. I don't want to take anything away from the first two HellBoy movies. You got that? You cool?
Yeah.
Okay. I love those movies, but I think in my personal opinion, this one was better.
Well, here's what it is. Since we're doing the movie review on this 2019, I'm only going to mention that movie in one line, those two other movies in one line, and there's going to be really nothing else about it. Because we're going to forget that those two movies even exist.
Fair enough. Because it is a reboot,
yes.
Basically. No, there's no doubt about it. I wish it was a third in the series, but unfortunately, it is a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't personally like reboots very much, but this one was one of the very, very seldom few that I liked. So let's talk a little bit about that story. What did you not like about it? I know you've been pretty open about the fact that you did not enjoy this movie, correct?
Well, before we actually get into like why you like it and I don't like it, our opinions, let me tell the listeners about HellBoy just in case they don't know about him.
Yeah.
So HellBoy is a comic book superhero created by writer-artist Mike Mignola. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I believe you are.
The character first appeared in San Diego Comic-Con Comics #2 in August 1993. Is a well-meaning demon whose true name is Anung Rama. HellBoy was summoned from hell to earth as an infant on December 23rd, 1944 by Nazi occultists. Now, the pop culture behind the character, he's been adapted into 3 live-action feature films, 2 of starring Ron Perlman in 2004-2008 in the title role, and the one in 2019 which starred David Harbour. Now, as well, they've had 2 straight-to-DVD animated films and 3 video games, Asylum Seeker, The Science of Evil, and as a playable character in Injustice 2, which I did not know.
Yes, he's actually one of my favorite characters in that game. It's badass.
Now, IMDb has this as a 5.2 out of 10, which is a pretty shitty rating.
Yes.
It's 2 hours long, but I think it's just maybe a minute or 2 over, which if you have seen it, then you know, well, in my opinion, it's way too long.
Okay.
Now I get to tell you what the fuck is wrong with this movie. Let's start off in the opening scene. Okay. Takes place in 517 AD. Cool. Not a problem. I don't know nothing about the movie yet. Okay. There's wizards and King Arthur. What the fuck? So then you see these little incest, little Yoda offspring looking things. Then you got this typical witchcraft shit. The Blood Queen and was played by Mila. I can't say her fucking last name.
It's pronounced Mila Jovovich. I believe
go.
I'm saying that right. I've always had a hard time pronouncing her name.
Anyways, so they're doing the typical witchcraft shit. King Arthur shows up and tries to kill her. She throws a spell. Merlin blocks it. King Arthur finally kills her. Blood Queen, the Blood Queen is, killed, and boom, it's over. Or so they thought. Stupid shit. Like it's always in these movies. Now, it's a pretty quick intro, and the backstory is like it's a quick like backstory and the intro to start off. So the movie actually starts up pretty quick, which I kind of I really like about that.
So let me explain why I really love that intro.
Go ahead, try me.
Ian McShane did a very phenomenal job narrating that intro, and it's very tongue-in-cheek.
Okay,
it's so tongue-in-cheek. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Narrating. No, you go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, if you know anything about Hellboy, if you know anything about the books, if you know anything about even the 2004 in the second movie, it's there's this sense of comedic value to the character of Hellboy, and it's because he is in his 20s, and he's kind of he even says so himself in the movie. He's like, I'm always making jokes to cope with those things that are not normal. And I feel like this is another way that the movie makes jokes by having Ian McShane do that very comedic introduction about the Queen and all that stuff and King Arthur. And it's humorous to me when he's going off on this tangent saying, well, the Queen, she was pissed off. And then that's funny to me. And it's supposed to be very comic booky and over the top. And that's why it worked well for me. There were some parts in there that I didn't think were completely necessary. When they're throwing her fucking head in the box and she's still talking. I don't think that was necessary. They could have left that part vague. I almost would have preferred if they would have done that introduction scene as a comic book, like an animated introduction. That would have been really fucking awesome. But they didn't. They decided to actually take it and make it live action. So that's just why I personally enjoyed the introduction, mainly because of Ian McShane. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to that or not.
Well, now that you've said it that way, I can understand it more.
Okay. So
now,
you're not saying that I've won you over, but you're saying that you kind of can see it a little more.
Yeah, because I'll agree with you on this part. Like, there's a lot of shit throughout the whole movie that didn't need to be there, but especially in the opening scene. But yeah, like I didn't really see it as a comic booky, trying to overplay it. So if you think that way while you listen to it, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. So I'm seeing what you're talking.
Okay, so if we're comparing comics at this point, another reason why I think this movie works very, very well is because it doesn't just adapt one string of story arcs in the Hellboy franchise. It adapts multiples, and it does so in a series of flashbacks, illusion, stuff like that, and just like these strange, I guess they're hallucinations when he goes to see the Baba Yaga and all that stuff. So anyway, essentially, I felt like that was really cool because it almost like opened up this wonderful folkloric world of what Hellboy could have been. However, the 2004 film, and I hate comparing it to the two because I love both of those movies, but the 2004 film did, however, focus only on one story arc, and that was the Seeds of Destruction story arc, which Del Toro did a very phenomenal job on, and I will never, want that movie to, be negative in any way. It's great. But, Hellboy 2 being a film that literally the Golden Army thing was just created for that movie. It's not in the books. It's not in the animated. It's nothing. It's its own thing, which was a little weird. And I don't know if fans were necessarily happy about that, which is why I don't think we ever got a third film from Del Toro properly. But this kind of is like a back to the basics, back to the roots of paranormal folkloric, Hellboy, which for me was like really fucking cool because I love folklore and I love the fact that there's something now that can be adapted into that. Um, yeah, someone's probably you being one of those people. A lot of people probably don't agree with me, and the box office numbers prove that
Uh-huh.
that it just
Uh-huh.
was not a cup of tea for most people. But I personally love that.
Okay. I mean, that's one point of view.
Okay, okay. Um,
I don't really go that, and I don't really know much about the comic or the storylines. I kind of just
totally,
focus on the
totally.
movie, so I don't really have like. Here's the way I see opinions. Like, yeah, everybody has an opinion. So let's say that since you're director, you're screenwriter,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
you hand me you hand me a screenplay, and I say, you know what, this sucks. That's
yeah.
my opinion, but I've never done it, so what's my opinion worth? Not shit. So,
Exactly.
uh, so in that stance, my opinion is not worth shit because I have no clue about any story arcs, storylines, only the ones that's been in the
And that's
movies.
okay. That's completely fine. And I think that's another thing that makes this movie enjoyable is you don't necessarily have to know. If you
Yep,
go into this movie and you just watch it, they're not necessarily they're spoon feeding you without being obvious about spoon feeding you. They're doing it in very um cinematic ways, like the changeling scene.
yep,
They're like, oh, we're just going to do a quick flashback, but we're not going to make the flashback so ridiculous and so long and drug out that it's going to bore the shit out of you. They make it quick, snappy, done. And then that
yep.
also, not only does that establish the world, but it also establishes a story that's going to come back later, which is cool.
True, but also we gotta tell them, the listeners, if you have not watched this movie, we're going to say it now. We should have said it to begin with. Spoilers, okay?
Spoilers, heavy, heavy spoilers.
Um, it's don't watch if you. I know most people have probably seen the first two films.
Mm.
Don't watch those and watch this and expect the same thing
Oh,
because you will
hell
be totally let down.
no. Yeah, completely.
That's what happened to me the first time because I've watched it twice now. I watched it when it first came out, then I watched it today just for this. And the first time I watched it, that's the reason my opinion on it's so horrible because I think in my mind I'm still thinking of Ron Perlman and all that stuff. So,
And you know what? I think that's why the movie wasn't as successful as it could have
and I
been.
get it because you have so many fans out there of Dark Horse Comics that went to see Hellboy, and then they do this. They branch off to this reboot, and I
It's
don't know.
different. It's
Yeah,
different. It's totally different.
yeah.
So, I don't want to I'm not trying to win you over in this or anything like that. And
You're not.
I'm glad that you have an opinion about it. And I understand that you don't, you like you said, you don't read the comics, you don't care about the source material, and that's okay. I don't think that source material is even important.
Not in
I
movies
think
because if you
not in
have,
movies,
it's
yeah.
because no one really follows the source material. Like I read Batman, and I love the Batman movies, as you know. None of the Batman movies really follow the comics.
No, and that's okay. Like
Yeah, I mean
it's
it's fun because it
it,
gives a different
it's
story.
I think the cool thing about a lot of comic book movies, and I'm not a huge comic book movie guy, so this is kind of a big deal for me actually walking away from a comic book movie and being all up in arms about it. It's you can almost jump on at any point in time in any movie and like it or not
Yep.
like it. But the point is, you're going to jump on and you're going to say, hey, this makes complete sense to me. Or you're going to be one of those people that walks away saying, okay, it made sense, but it sucked. And that's okay too. 'Cause that's how I feel about 75 to 65% of the MCU. I don't like it, but then there's a few films out there that I'm like, you know what, this is good. I love the first three Iron Man movies. I think those are phenomenal.
But if you
But a lot
compare,
of people
okay,
don't share that.
okay, here, look, we're getting way off topic here.
We are a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Okay,
I'm trying to stay in adaptations of comic book films. It's
I got you.
hard, is
I see
what
what
I'm
you're
getting
describing.
at.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was about to go into a big MCU DC thing. I was like, fuck it, I
Fair.
gotta stop myself. Okay, so
Well,
let's get back into the storyline real quick.
yeah.
Because
Let's continue. Let's
because
continue.
okay, so anyways, so when they first meet Hellboy, you meet him Hulkamania style.
You do,
Okay.
which
Okay, here's what pisses me off
it's
about this scene the most. This is big red son of a bitch walks around in a trench coat and a hood to
uh-huh.
cover his head, but he has a fucking trash can size arm. So how
Me
the fuck
too.
does no one bat an eye? And he has a fucking tail.
So that's one of the negatives in mine. I'm glad you mentioned that because
What's the
it
point?
really pissed me off. That's what I always wondered. I think that it's set up to make him. It's just a personality trait. He's trying so hard to fit in that he doesn't realize that it's impossible for him to fit in.
Or is it in this universe, in this movie, that he's accepted already? People know who he is because in the first films they hit him.
That's true.
In this one, he's driving around in his own fucking car. I don't know.
See, I don't know either. It's so weird.
Here's another thing that pissed me off. So then the Mexican Batman guy called him out, and he shows his demon face, takes off his hood. People just gasp. That's it. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's like, oh, okay. It's just
Yeah. I feel like maybe they wanted to establish that in this world, paranormal shit just fucking happens. Like, there's no rhyme, there's no reason for it. It just happens. And
But
like you
actually,
said,
no,
I
no,
get it,
no,
but
no.
it's just
Actually,
weird.
no, because I hate to interrupt you, but here's why. So you just said that this paranormal shit just happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But in that same scene, when after Bing Bang clothesline, now Wan Man is a real fucking bat dude, the audience freaks the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that paranormal shit's not scary.
No,
I
but
mean,
if you see a demon dude walk in, wouldn't you just be as scared or maybe still scared from that?
totally. Totally.
I
but like
just
you
think
said,
the playoff of like, oh, he's here, okay, whatever.
yeah, but just keep in mind what you said though. If he's already been established in this world, which
Good point.
we have no rhyme or reason to know,
Good point.
then everybody knows that he's there to cause no harm. He's only there to cause good or do good. But at the same time, we don't know. We have no idea. I mean, you also have Lobster fucking Johnson running around, and he's like this Nazi killing superhero from the fucking 1940s. And
I got something for that. I got something for that. When we get to that scene, I got something for that.
I'm sure that everyone who watched that movie that's like diehard Hellboy fans, they were probably like all excited and shit about Lobster Johnson being in the movies because he's apparently like this big character in the books, but the way that they introduce him, we'll get to that. It's weird. But anyway, after, he has his little wrestling match, he does go on to find out words of wisdom from a former colleague of his, basically saying the end is nigh or something like that.
I got when the real life Chupacabra motherfucker is killed, the plot is finally set up in his dying words. The end is coming. It's the same for every mythical movie, dude. And it's what irritates me. Every mythical movie has that one scene where someone dies or something happens. They're like, the end is coming. You need to save the world. Blah blah blah. And it's just fuck, man. That's so old.
It is a little old. It's a little aggravating to say. And then from that point on, Hellboy and the rest of the BPRD goes on this really fun adventure into just all over the world. I'm not sure all the places that they go to. It's quite a few places in search of the Blood Queen and basically her body parts that have been completely severed and spread across the world by King Arthur and Merlin, if I'm not that mistaken.
Well, so before you go that far, so at the end of that, because you got the opening scene, which is the one that takes place back when King Arthur first killed Blood Queen.
Yes.
And it kicks over to Hulkamania.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it kicks to a bar scene, which it's just him chilling, and somebody walks up and says, "You have to go home." Did not need that. Okay.
No, we didn't need it.
Then it goes to the BPRD part where they pull up, and BPRD, for anyone who doesn't know, is Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. Now, there's nothing at all special about this scene except for the Cyrus Club setup, but there is some daddy demon bonding.
There is some daddy demon, and the daddy issues.
And another thing I have a question about, because when you said I was traveling around trying to find all this shit, that's a little bit later in the movie, I think, when they start that.
Yeah.
So, now, the chicken house, if you understand what I'm saying, that the first time it shows up, you can't see the legs. The legs show up later in the movie. It's a fucking house on chicken legs. Yep. Okay, what the fuck is that about?
Well, if you don't know much about the folklore of the Baba Yaga, she is... See, this is where I'm getting at with the folklore. This kind of goes back to the source material, but it's not source material. It's really... They're borrowing from old folklore, like these fairy tales that people used to tell their children to scare them.
Yeah.
And the Baba Yaga was a fairy tale that was told to children, saying, "Stay out of the woods, or the Baba Yaga will get you." And
Gotcha.
she lives in a giant birdhouse with bird chicken legs or something like that.
Yeah.
And if she gets you, she's gonna cook you and eat you.
Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Yeah.
So that's basically where that comes from. But I feel like they did a very shitty job setting that up, because not a lot of people who don't really dive into folklore or anything like that are going to understand what the fuck this is. It's
To
just
me,
weird visuals to them.
it looked like Momo. You remember Momo, the Japanese thing?
I do know of Momo, yeah.
Okay, so it looked like Momo's grandma was just talking about a prophecy and eating little kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, that scene is fucked up. That went.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the kid scene. That was dark.
But are you sure this is just not an uglier, older, skinnier, pale lady? That, you know, because in the last episode we did Scary Stories Tell in the Dark, they had a pale lady in that one, and, you know, this one in this movie skinny and old. That one's, well, I don't know how old, but I mean, they're similar.
Very similar. Very
So
similar.
that when I first saw, I was like, hey, you know who that looks like?
Yeah. It looks just like the pale lady. You're right. I never noticed that, but you're
Yep,
100%.
yep.
It may be the same makeup effects artist. I
Could
don't
be.
know.
Now, after that scene, I'm pretty sure it goes to the origin story of how Hellboy came to Earth.
I believe so. I think when he goes to the Cyrus Club, I think that's when they explain to him. It's like basically, hey, you know,
Here's what I have.
you were summoned here by Rasputin, and now you have we could have killed you, but we chose not to.
Pretty much here's in my notes, and I hate to keep interrupting you.
No, you're okay.
But it's like I have in my notes I got World War II Nazi ritual, because that's basically what it was. It's an occultist thing. My first line note is the Dollar Tree brand Captain America shows up.
Lobster fucking Johnson.
Yep.
Oh
Blah blah.
my God.
All that shit happens. Whatever. They didn't kill the Satan spawn, so boom, Hellboy. Now, that scene right there bothers me so much, because if I seen that creature crawl out of a fucking well or a hole, I'm shooting the thing.
Oh no, I probably would have blasted him to pieces.
Yeah. So.
I mean, especially considering it was Nazis that fucking drug him up.
Yep.
I mean, you know, they obviously didn't have good intentions.
Yeah. So that the whole thing right there kind of bothered me, but I mean, I get it. It's a movie. It's in the script. It's in the comics. Whatever. I'm over it. I just want to tell you the Captain America line, so you can go ahead and tell you whatever. You want.
That's great. I know. I love the whole Lobster Johnson bit, because it hits you out of nowhere. It's like, what the fuck? And did you stay for the after credits by any chance? Please tell me you watched the after credits. There is a very funny mid-credit scene with Hellboy talking to the ghost of Lobster Johnson.
I still have the DVD, so I'll go watch it after.
Okay, you may. Yeah, we won't talk about it, but it it's the mid-credit scene.
Okay.
Anyway, now, as much as I am praising this movie because I really enjoyed it, I have some negatives about it, and I don't know if I should let you finish telling the plot before I dive into this negative.
Yeah, let me, because I got a lot of funny shit wrote down, so let me finish this
no,
start telling me your
ahead.
negative.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
go.
After the Lobster Johnson Captain America part, it goes to the church when they first start searching for all the body parts, the Blood Queen's people.
Yeah.
So Bebop's badass cousin decides to wreck the place to find the Blood Queen's body parts. Okay.
The Power Ranger character is basically what it reminds me of.
Teenage Mutant. Oh, that or Teenage Mutant Ninja
Well,
Turtles.
yeah, both.
Yeah. So, but the coolest part about that scene, besides him stomping on the fucking monks, was ripping the tongue out. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Then from there, he gets the body part, whatever, blah blah blah. You can't open it unless you have God, whatever. Okay. Again, stupid. Now, when he went to Osiris Club and they started to go giant hunting, did they not look like medieval Ghostbusters?
They did. So they're known as a clan called the Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt is a group of individuals, once again, diving in the folklore. They did it again.
Yeah.
They go out and they go on a troll hunt, basically. I believe it's trolls or something like that. And they essentially bring them down. And this is a clan that's very proud of their troll hunting. And Hellboy asked the one question. He's like, if you guys are so good, why the hell do you need me? Well,
he said
the
that
answer is the answer is, well, there's 3 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
That was enough to convince Hellboy to ride with the
2 we
Wild
can handle, but 3, I don't know.
Hunt. So yeah, Hellboy decides, fuck it. I'll ride with you guys. You know, I guess I don't really have a choice. So from that point, Hellboy is completely betrayed
Yep.
by the Wild Hunt.
The deer headmaster.
The deer headmaster.
You know, the only good part about this whole giant hunting thing is the action scenes when he's first fighting the medieval Ghostbusters, and then when he's Hellboy versus 3 Giants pay-per-view.
Dude, that was badass. Come on, that's so good.
But here's what pisses me off, because I saw it coming when I first watched the movie. When he was fighting the damn medieval Ghostbusters, it's like, you know what's going to happen. Like, he's getting the shit bit out of him. You know, he's almost done. And guess what the fuck shows up? A giant. The ones they're hunting.
And bitch smacks the headmaster out of existence.
But still, it's like, God. Like, I hate when I see shit coming. Like, maybe it's just where I'm looking for it. And I hate to do that. But it's like, I'm looking for the shit. So, because that's what I do. I'm like, I know what's coming next.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot of movies like It. And we'll talk about that later. There's some movies like the It movies that's like, oh, didn't see that fucking coming.
Yeah, no, and I do think that this movie was a bit predictable. I feel like the movie played it safe in a lot of regards, and that kind of breaks my heart too, because if you're gonna make an R-rated superhero movie, and might I add, yes, this movie is it's a hard R. Like there's a lot of gore in this movie.
Oh yeah, the gore towards the end especially.
I don't think that you really should play it safe with an R-rated horror film, because I mean, I don't really care for Deadpool, but they executed that very well.
Oh yeah.
And the same thing with Joker. I don't really care for Joker, but I've heard nothing but positive things about it. And I think the reason why these movies are successful is because they don't play it safe. And with a character like Hellboy, why should you play it safe? Your character's name is Hellboy. You don't get any darker than that. But
so after he fights the 3 giants, right? Like he goes down, because he kills it. But what happens? He gets shot. He gets shot with a dart or something?
He gets stabbed through the back by these harpoon-like devices that apparently carry enough power equivalent to that of an electric chair.
No, I'm talking about after that. I'm talking about after he fights the 3 giants. What makes them come to the rescue? Like, what happens? Because he kills all 3 giants.
Well, I think he passes out.
Good point. Okay.
Yeah, he passed out from all the electronic shocks that he was getting. And the last thing that he sees before he passed out was the headmaster of the Wild Hunt getting bitch smacked, like completely across the field by one of the giants. And I guess the one thing that I can't quite figure out is, why did the giants not fuck with Hellboy, but yet they were over there feasting on the corpse of that Wild Hunt? That was a little weird to me, but hey, I didn't write it. So, he wakes up and he looks over and he's like, oh, look at that. They're having a feast. And
where's the 3rd one at? Oh, yeah. Saw that coming too.
There it is.
The whole fight scene right there was just really good. Like, when he took that fucking tree out of the ground, sewed it through that one giant's throat, and then he cut the other one with the sword, and it was just really cool. I like it. Like, all the action scenes in this film and the CGI and shit are spot on.
Very, very beautifully choreographed.
I'm not going to knock that at all.
Yeah.
But here's what irritates me the most about this part of the movie. So when after he kills the 3 giants, he gets passed out or something, because people in the van come up and pick him up, and he wakes up in that girl's apartment. We find out she's like grandma's fucking daughter or some shit. That was something. Okay, you gotta watch the movie. That's hard to explain that part.
There's a lot that's very convoluted in this film.
So when the Asian British guy is on the porch with Professor Daddy, explaining to Hellboy this whole debacle about the Blood Queen and all this shit, word for word describing it, what the opening scene was doing.
So much exposition, it's ridiculous.
Here's my thing. It could have just opened up with Hellboy wrestling, and the movie would have still made sense.
You're right. You're 100% right.
The whole intro did not need to be there. I think that was a waste of time. After I remember seeing this, I was like, yeah, it's a waste of fucking time. Did not need it. It was just waste of money. You could have saved so much money from hiring all these fucking people and all the effects and shit.
You're 100% right. And I think the reason why they didn't do that is because, once again, this movie decided to fucking play it safe. They thought that we wouldn't understand, because I think that movie studios, from everything that I've heard throughout the years and researched, and studios think we're stupid. They don't think that we can just go into a movie and understand it. They think that we need to have our hands held through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So they will force feed us exposition. They're like, here's part of the story. There's part of the story. You missed that other part of the story? Well, guess what? Here it is again. And that gets irritating as shit. I can't stand that. And yeah, that's actually one of the negatives we can talk about. I'm glad you mentioned that.
It just irritates me. Like, I hate these dragged out movies where, like, this movie could have been easily like an hour and 10 minutes. And still you would have not missed anything, and you would have had room to add cooler shit. Like, from the whole Professor Daddy showing up to the apartment until they're on the helicopter going to wherever they're going, I can't remember.
Yeah,
everything could have been cut out of there. Like, there's a
lot. There's a lot of one of the things that I hated the most is when they're on the helicopter. I can't remember his name. Ben, the Jaguar. He explains this crazy story about his team being taken out by one of these jaguar-like creatures that was in the forest when he was in the army. Now, granted, this comes back near the end of the film, but it wasn't necessary because he had scars on his face that already told this mysterious story. This mysterious story that we now know because of this fucking story that he told. Was it necessary? No, it was not. It wasn't.
My note on that, when that happened, I was like, oh, look, the Asian guy who keeps calling Hellboy a monster is one himself, Didn't see that one coming either.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's a side note real quick. Do you remember the scene where Hellboy's in the elevator and it starts dropping?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right before the Baba Yaga.
Yeah, in this scene, when he's in the elevator and he keeps punching the box where the buttons are, there's no dents. Not hurting it at all.
Oh,
but, when he touches his cell phone, it's gone.
Yeah, I know. And I thought about that, and then it hit me. I was like, maybe the BPRD made the elevator stronger because they knew he would be using them and whatnot. But I don't know. I try not to dive in too much about shit like that because
I can't stand it.
Sometimes it's annoying. But then again, I have to think about it. It's like, well, what type of movie am I watching? I'm watching a comic book film, so it's like I can't nitpick at it too much in that regards, because if I do, everything would be awful. So I just take it with a grain of salt. So I don't want to spend too much time on the story, because it like Ronnie said, it's a two-hour movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, I believe.
Like that, yeah.
And a lot of the movie could have been reduced down to an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Including credits, I might add. So with that being said, we eventually get to see our main villain, or our villainess, I should say, the Queen, the Blood Queen, played by Mila Jovovich, and oh boy, do I have some words to talk about this. I'm going to get into the negative because this is probably my biggest gripe about the movie. So the villain in this film, complete trash. Just complete trash.
The actress or just the character?
No. I actually like Mila Jovovich. I think she's a really good actress. I just didn't like the character of the Blood Queen.
I agree.
And I'll get more into that. So I love the lore. I love the minor creatures, the fucking Baba Yaga, the changeling, the pixies, all that shit. Cool. Fucking A. This is awesome. Let's keep it going. Then all of a sudden they bring the Queen back. We spend half of the movie, over half the movie, about an hour and 30 minutes worth of the movie just bringing her back. Yep. And then as soon as she's back, she's basically gone.
Yep.
She's back in the movie a handful of minutes. Like I'm talking, she may have 20 to 30 minutes of screen time where she's actually just being the Blood Queen.
Well, when she's first there, you got her in the opening scene. Then you have her on the couch when they're, he's bringing all the parts in. Then you have them when she's getting sewed together.
Yeah,
Then
but I'm
it's
talking about
the
her
ending.
as like a whole. Like
Yeah,
as soon
not
as
much.
she's whole, again, they fuck her over, and they're like,
Yep.
guess what? She's gone again, and it's like, so what was the point of this? Now, I think Mila is a great actor. I think that she was just, she was doing the best that she could with what she was given.
Yep.
And I wish they would have given her more action. I wish they would have given her more of a chance.
Yep.
And it just gave her character room to breathe.
100% agree.
Like that's the thing that made me the most angry about this, because to be fair, she hasn't been in a lot of movies since the Resident Evil series.
Nope.
And I love the Resident Evil series. I actually love every single one of those movies as much as they get shit on. I love those movies. And I think she did a great job. And I was ready to see her in something else, something other than The Fifth Element, something other than Resident Evil. And when I heard she was going to be in Hellboy, I was excited. And then this is what we get. I'm really mad. I'm really upset that they did this.
Well, they hopped the Blood Queen up so much in this movie that you're expecting something 10 times different than what you got.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it is. Like the fact and here's what kills me. It's just like any other, like, especially like, let's say Man of Steel. In Man of Steel, or no, or maybe it's Batman vs Superman, they kidnap Superman's mom, right?
Yeah.
So someone kidnaps a super strong dude's parent. So like in this movie, Blood Queen kidnaps, Professor Daddy, and all hell breaks loose. Then the cathedral fight, which is by far one of the coolest fight scenes in the movie.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Just because awesome. Bebop on steroids.
But it was all Bebop.
Yep. That's
my problem with it.
But
it was all Bebop.
Here's one positive for the movie, and I think you'll like this one. The 1980s style one-liners Hellboy had after every fight scene.
Oh God, dude!
Like, remember when he threw the head in the thing? He's like, "Lady, don't get ahead of yourself," and or no, quit while you're ahead. And I was like,
my favorite line in the whole movie, since we're talking about one-liners, it's not even a one-liner. My favorite line is when she's asking him to join her, and he goes, "Well, I would, but there's two different things about us. You're a Capricorn, or I'm a Capricorn, and you are fucking insane."
Listen to this, okay?
And
my notes, I got the funniest / best line is, "I'm a Capricorn and you're fucking nuts."
I love that line so much. And it's like, that is great. It just made me laugh so hard. And I was like, that's fucking Hellboy. Like that's what he is. That's what he does.
Yep.
And he doesn't take any situation serious. And the fact that, he says that while his, if I'm not bad or mistaken, at that point, old girl was laying back on the ground dying, if I'm not bad or mistaken. And even in the brink of all that, he still finds a way to keep a sense of humor because he struggles with normalizing himself. And I loved it. I thought it was great. That line.
Another part of the one little thing. Remember when he first grabs Excalibur and he rises up out of the floor?
Yes.
That scene right there, I think, was 100% perfect.
Ooh, it was beautiful, man. God, that ending is so tight. Like, that's the thing. Like, everything about this movie, except, God, the fucking Blood Queen. Like, her arc is lame. But the ending of the film, is so fucking tight.
You talking about the 6 months later part?
Oh, no, that's really good, too.
So you're talking about before, okay.
I'm talking about when he gets Excalibur. Like, from that point forward, it's really good. And it almost makes me sad that the rest of the film couldn't have been more
they used all their money on that.
Yeah. It's almost one of those scenarios where you're like, well, wait a minute. Did they shoot this ending first and then just kind of finagle shit together for the rest of the movie near the end?
Here's my opinion on that. I think that some dude came in, whoever wrote the screenplay, he was like, okay, listen, guys. Okay, I got a great ending for Hellboy. And the other guy's like, great, let's shoot it. And he's like, what? He's like, I don't have the rest of... No, we're going to shoot the ending. We'll figure out the rest later.
It's like, no.
They shot the ending of the movie, and then they was like, "Oh well, now we gotta do this." So that's why the movie has so much fucking shit going on in it.
Yeah. So the screenplay was written by a young man by the name of Andrew Cosby.
Well, he sucks.
He
I'm
was
sorry.
well. I can't expect much from the guy because he worked on the shitty ass sci-fi TV show Eureka.
Well,
Yeah.
that was okay. Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. But what is interesting about him and what kind of makes me upset is he had a brief stint working at Dark Horse Comics. That's a
Oh.
big fucking no-no. That's a big no-no because him having a comic book of his own called Damnation published there, he should know better than to fuck Hellboy over like that.
He did.
And that's what kind of gets me a little up in arms about him. So I know there's never going to be a sequel to this movie because if you look at the box office numbers, it fucking bombed. It tanked.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sucks. So there'll never be a sequel, but if there was ever a sequel, I would not have hired Andrew Cosby to write that damn thing. I'll tell you that.
I'll put it this way: anybody with the last name Cosby, don't hire him.
You probably should stay away and cover your drinks. Matter of fact, get one of those, get like some Tupperware to put over your drink or maybe some fucking cellophane because it's just not going to work out very well for you guys. Oh, man.
All right, so Chad, if you had to sum this movie up in 2 words, what would it be?
Exhilarating disappointment.
Okay.
Or
2 big words.
Or fantastic adaptation. It's tough because it's drawing inspiration from some of the best storylines like Darkness Calls, Hellboy in Mexico, Wild Hunt, Storm and Fury.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm like, do we really need that though? It's like Del Toro did the same thing a couple of years ago, and it worked out well for him. But I don't know. Like I just don't know. It's still my favorite movie of this year.
You're retarded.
And I now here's the thing though. I don't know why. There's something about it. Like I can't quite figure it out. Maybe I need to watch it another time. Maybe I need to watch it 3 more times. But for some reason right now, it's the standout film of the year for me. And I can't quite figure out why. I think I might know one reason why. I think a little bit of it comes from the fact that we've been going through such a oversaturation of the market of superheroes that it was kind of refreshing. It was just kind of refreshing to see something different. And I think maybe that's why. Maybe that's the exact reason why that I actually enjoy this movie so much, because it was so different. And it wasn't just a bandwagon movie that everybody could get on the dick of, because that's my biggest problem with films like Joker and Avengers, even though I actually enjoy the Avengers movies quite a bit. But things like Joker really pisses me off. And I'm pretty sure it pisses you off too, because I know you are an actual Joker fan. You're an actual Batman fan.
More of a Batman fan. I mean, I like the Joker, but I'm not one of those guys that knows a lot about him.
Yeah, but still, you actually have read, you actually know a little bit about the character, but you're not out here jumping on the dick of every single bandwagon thing that comes down the pipeline. I think that the whole Joaquin Phoenix movie is all just bandwagon hype. Like, I don't think the movie's probably going to be that good when I watch it. Eventually, I will. But when I do, I'm probably not going to enjoy it.
Fucking millennials.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it could be part of the millennial factor, but I think it's not just millennials. I see grown ass men and women, coming into my place of work, and they're just like all up in arms about this fucking movie, and I just don't see the appeal to it. And it's not part of this review, but what I'm getting at is I think it was just refreshing for me to see a different type of superhero movie. That's all. Maybe that's the explanation that I can best give as to why I like this movie. But eventually, I think the rose-tinted glasses will fall off for me, and I may end up seeing Hellboy for the same reasons that everybody else saw it for, and that's a box office bomb. But as of right now, I'm going to enjoy this.
So you remember what you said is your two word summary, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you want to hear mine?
Mm-hmm.
Daddy issues.
Daddy issues. Yeah, I can see that.
Because why did he kill the Blood Queen at the end? Because Daddy popped up out of the bitch's mouth and it's like, you don't need to do this. You're a real good man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my rating for this movie before the 6 months later part, as I did it, I did a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I did 2
Okay.
just for acting and effects. Now, acting, David Harbour, I think, did an amazing job as Hellboy.
Man.
Now, I think some of the characters in this movie was not needed, but I think everybody that played a character played it well.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Now, the 6 months later part though is I think in the top 3 fight scenes.
Before you get to the 6 months later part, I just want to say one quick thing, and that's I meant to say the practical effects in this movie were really good.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very, very happy. I think that's another reason why I like this movie so much is because Neil Marshall, like I said, he made a movie called Dog Soldiers years ago, and it was really good, and it was all basically practical effect werewolf film, which at the time we never did see a lot of those.
Oh yeah.
And it's really cool to just see that he has not strayed away from that. He's stuck by his guns, and he's still making these practical effect movies, and I applaud him for that. And yeah, so anyway, 6 months later.
So they're at they're in the Atlantis cult or club or something, the Atlantean something.
The Atlantean Association, I think that's what they call it. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That 6 months later part was probably the top 3 fight scenes, and what it was supposed to be, as you tell, is a setup for the sequel they never got made.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's the setup for a sequel we'll never see.
After they fuck everybody up, and it's like I said, a really good scene, slow motion, rock music, everything going badass.
Yeah,
we get to see Aquaman's little incest fish cousin's hand.
Abe Sapien sticks his hand up on the fish tank, and then the movie goes to black, alluding that, oh shit, we just found Abe. And it's like, well, that's a shame because you guys just fucking bombed at the box office once again, and well, guess who we're not going to get to see?
Well, we know they get to see Abe, but he just don't have that name because it was directed by the same dude who directed the first 2 films.
Yeah, you'll get to see Abe, but just not in the way that you probably wanted to see Abe. But
it's called Old Greg.
You know,
I fell in love with a manfish.
I fell in love with a manfish.
What was it, Shape of Water?
Well, yeah, you could totally go see Shape of Water, which is directed by Del Toro, and you can see.
That's basically what that fucking movie is. They might not name drop him, but I guarantee you that's what it is. Yeah. I've never seen it. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak about it.
Yeah, well, Del Toro and his love for aquatic weirdness. Boy, yeah. Well, anyway, if I had to give this movie a rating, oh God, you're gonna hate me because I give it a solid 4 out of 5.
You're fucking stupid.
But that's just me, and like I said, it's probably just because I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses. But unanimously, I think that we have both voted a 3 out of 5 as a solid rating for this film.
Yeah, I understand. It's just, I don't know. It's, to me, I'd rather watch Scary Stories Tell in the Dark again.
I haven't watched that movie since we reviewed it. And
no, because the movie sucks.
I don't have an urge to go back and watch it.
But I would just, if somebody's like, you want to watch Hellboy or scary movies? Actually, you remember this movie? Would you rather watch New Hellboy or Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies?
Who, me?
Lincoln versus Zombies.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
No, you don't remember that movie?
No, Abe Lincoln versus
no, here's
Zombies,
what happened.
and I also remember Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter as well.
This is a little bonus material for whoever listens always fully through, if anyone does. I rented a movie from Redbox when Redbox first got big. It was Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies, just because that Abraham Lincoln versus Vampire movie just came out, right?
Oh, yeah.
This movie is so bad. Me and Payne had to fucking fast forward it to the end just to see, like, what the fuck. And, like, you don't even understand what it is. I thought we was going to bring it to you until you was like, I think we was planning to bring it to you saying this is the best movie we ever saw and get you to watch it.
Yeah, but you guys were going to make me, like, suffer through it. And
yeah. And it didn't happen. But I was like, I'd rather watch that again than watch this Hellboy again because I watched the first, I'm not shooting you, I was 24 minutes in, and that's when I texted you. I was like, I'm only 25 minutes in. I've got 4 pages of notes. And I was pausing it like every 5 minutes just to get up and walk around. I'd go punch my kid in the face just to have something to do.
Man, I hate that you hate that movie so much.
It's
Well, you know what?
nuts.
I would recommend you to watch Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers. But at the same time, I'm afraid you're gonna just absolutely
I'll
hate that
shit on
movie
it,
too.
and I will tell you exactly how I feel about it. Like,
It's
I'm very. What's the word? I'm biased.
You're very biased. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it though, man. It's so far it's next to Crawl, which I think we will review eventually. It's
Yeah.
probably been one of my favorite movies this year, and yeah, but there's still a few more that I want to see. I would like to do a review on Crawl, and I would love to do a review on Ready or Not as well.
Saw that in the
Uh,
red box today, so I'm gonna try to get it as soon as possible.
yeah, I think I'm gonna snag it probably tomorrow if I can. As for Hellboy, I do have a very special treat for those who may listen to this and leave us a comment at the bottom of our YouTube page. I'm assuming we're gonna upload this to YouTube, correct?
It's gonna be on YouTube and Podbean. Let me tell you something actually about that. There was a dude that commented on our Tom Hanks pedophile thing and
Oh.
said, "I feel sorry for McCulkin," but he never commented back. So
Yeah, I feel sorry for Macaulay too.
I don't
Oh
know.
man, especially this time of the year. It's gotta be horrible.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, we're gonna be giving away a free digital code for the Hellboy 2019 film. If you comment at the bottom, we'll select one person at random. If it's only one person that comments, then guess what? You're probably going to get it. But we will probably pick a winner by, what would you say, Ronnie, the end of the week? Is that
Let's go
reasonable?
first of the year
First of the year. We'll pick
because
a
next
winner
week's
by
gonna
the
be a
first of
busy
the
week
year.
for everybody.
Yeah, we're all going to be pretty busy and slammed for the holidays. So yeah, we'll pick a winner, and that person can get hooked up with a digital code for Hellboy 2019, and then you can shit on the movie with me and Ronnie over here. Mainly Ronnie, but why not?
If you guys, whoever does, and they get that, and you guys want to message me personally and just bitch about the movie, I'm more than happy to fucking sit there and listen.
And if you want to tell me what a good movie it was and how Ronnie's full of
There's
shit,
not gonna be no one there
I'll be
doing that. I
more than
promise you.
happy to listen to
There will not be no one there doing that.
yeah, I highly doubt that there'll be people there, but you know what? I like what I like, and I can't help it.
I mean, I get it. I mean, you have a shit taste. That's cool.
Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
I guess you like Kevin Smith films.
Oh, that's dirty, girl. That's dirty.